Well, everybody, we are live, so you know things can go wrong. And I, excuse me, I was told that no one, everyone could see my beautiful nails, but they couldn't see me. So we want this to be a good recording. So I'm just going to re-record the welcome, and you can all sit there and laugh at me. See if I can remember what I said. So I'm Susan Mock, and I am the owner of the Stitchin Den, and it's a fiber shop up in Estes Park, and it's a gorgeous day up here at Estes, and just beautiful, no wind, nice temperature. So if you want to have a nice day trip, it would be great if you wanted to come on up and see us. We're open all day, 10 to 5, Wednesday through Saturday. And today is, I think, our 4th or 5th demo day. And we have been doing these all year long, and people have been loving these, and especially the recorded video that we do. That's why it was important for us to start this over. And we have. So again, thanks for coming, everybody, and enjoy your coffee while we're demonstrating some really fun things this morning. Things like Debbie's going to be back in just a minute, and she is going to do the hexagon rulers, followed by Sherry Baker, who's going to show you how to finish a cross stitch ornament. And this would work for a needlepoint ornament also. So just kind of look at the technique that she's doing. I know one of our customers is on because she wanted to know how she could finish some needlepoint ornament. So it's kind of the same techniques. After that, Paula's going to do knitted felted flower bowls. And then we're going to have a learn how to cross stitch on any stocking. And so you can customize your stocking and individualize them. And Jan is going to present that. And then I'm going to finish up at noon with demonstration of our really fun and whimsical wool buddy needle felting. So with that, I'm going to let Debbie come over and take over and have a great time showing you about hexagon rulers.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Debbie, and I am a team member at the Stitchin Den. You will find me usually over on the quilting side, but my knowledge on the knitting has greatly improved. And that's because I took Paula's class on building blocks. There is so much to learn in that. So today I am going to talk about the hexagon trim tool. And this is the project I made with the hexagon trim tool. This is a great, easy project to make for a Christmas gift, or you could make just one hexagon and make it into a pot holder. We do have the insulated batting for this so that the heat will not go through, transfer through to your hand when you're pulling your hot dishes out of the oven. So this is the hexagon trim tool, and I call it a ruler, but what you're doing is you're actually cutting strips when you're making certain sizes of hexagons, and then you're trimming them up on the points to come in. I'm not going to be showing that part of it today. So I am going to start with how I fussy cut a item, because if you'll notice, all of the bears in this are centered. So I am working with this eagle. I'm working with this eagle here, and I want him to be the same as this eagle. So I cut my first one and I lay it on top of my ruler. And then I put this, and I start lining it up with my points that I have on the printer. Now this is a batik, and with batiks, they are stamped. So they're not 100% consistent. And I want just a little piece of black right here on this part. There we go. And then I take this off, and then I know that I start cutting here. I don't recommend cutting towards yourself. This is just because this is for your visual. And then once I get that point there, I'm going to cut the rest of this off real quick because we're trying to do this fast. And this works even if you're working with the square fussy cut. So now I can turn my ruler this way, and I'm going to put this on this point here again. Actually, I'm going to do it this way so I can get two cuts out of it. I'm lining it up. And then I'm lining it up again. And this one here is a 4-inch hexie that I'm working on. And there are all the directions come with how to use this ruler with the ruler. And if you happen to lose that, you can scan this code right here with your phone, and your directions are right there again. So you're not going to lose your directions, which is great. So there's my hexie, and they're just, so I cut 6 of these because I'm going to make it the same. I'm going to make it a hexie shape when it's done. And I also did one for the center. So with my color 2 fabric, I cut, so for the, for cutting the fussy cutting the eagles, you need a half a yard. That's because you have to cut it around. Now, sometimes I had eagles that were shorter, so I couldn't cut down on them. So I lost that part of being able to use it for this project, but you can use it for another project. Then you need a fat quarter for your second color. And those are going to be cut into 1 3/4 strips. And I needed to cut 8 strips, plus I cut a 3-inch piece off of the last part of my fat quarter. Then I returned and cut 2 more strips from the remaining pieces off of that. So I take my, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you you're cutting. And then from your third color, I cut, so this is 1 1/4 yard. And the first thing you're going to want to do is cut, can you just switch camera, please? Paula's going to switch us up. Oh, here I am. I'm up here. So you're going to take and you're going to cut 25 inches off of that 1 1/4 yard cut that you had there. This is going to be your backing, and then you're going to set this piece aside. You're going to use that later on. Back to the little one again. Then you're going to cut, my third color is this black with the silver metallic on it. Then you're going to cut 8 strips, 1 3/4 with a fabric. And then I'm going to subcut. Okay, I'm going back to my color 2. So then I subcut into 2-inch pieces and 3-inch pieces. No, 3-inch pieces. These are 3 inches. I knew that didn't look right. 3-inch pieces and 5.5-inch pieces. So you start on your hexie and you do, I'm going to show you this one. I sewed some of these together is why I'm having trouble grabbing them. Notice that I started sewing. This one here is the one that I sewed on top first, but you want to sew 3 of them with the piece on top, and you want to sew 3 of them with the piece on the side over here first. So you sew these 3 pieces on here. No, it's not. And then you take and you put your 5.5-inch pieces on. And you don't need to pin this, but you can if you want to. And you'll notice that I'm just lining this up to the center so that my point and my point are coming over here. And you just stitch along here. And you're going to do that, repeat that on these 2 sides over here. Then you're going to press them out. And when you press them out, you will have this piece here. And then you're going to use your ruler, your trim tool, the Hexagon trim tool. And you'll notice inside of here, I know we have a moonlight here from the light, but there's a hexagon here that is very obvious to see, but that's for your trimming when you're originally cutting hexagons. you come down further, you have another hexagon right here. And you have another hexagon right here. So I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to center around it, line it up. You see, I've got equal sides here to trim on all 6 sides. I'm sitting here following Susan with her beautiful nails. All I keep thinking is, oh, I wish I had beautiful nails like that. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm still going to center on this hexagon here. And I want to turn it one more because you only have to do this 3 times. Thank you, Paula. Paula is dimming the light so it's not blinding me. Okay, so I'm lining up here. I'm also lining up out here where I already did my trims. It is, thank you. And then, so if you can, notice I'm cutting right and left-handed. If you can take the time and learn to cut right and left-handed, it really helps when you're doing some trimming. I'm gonna do one more. You guys are seeing the hexagon coming. I'm lining it up here again. And I'm trimming. Oops, see what I did? I didn't line it up to where I could get 2 of them out of there. So I've got to do it one more time. Oops, scoot it over a little bit. It is important that you keep it trimmed up nice and even because you're going to sew it all together here in a minute too. I'm going to show you how to put them together. So there. So now I have a 6-inch hexagon there. So I want to go to an 8-inch. So I am going to use a 4-inch, and these are 1 3/4 too, and a 7-inch. And I'm not actually going to do these. I'm just going to show you. So I would repeat, this is my start area. And I would just repeat, and I would put this piece on, make sure that it's even. You do need it to be even because when you flip it open, you need that extra space there. So I'm going to sew 3 of those on. And then I will press them out. And then I'm going to use the 7-inch. And I would sew those on and press out, and then I would trim it again. And you're going to have to give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take care of a couple things that I forgot. And then I need to, I've got this one all cut, and now it's going to look like this. Notice when I trimmed it up, again, I would center on this one. Remember last time I centered on this hexagon? This time you move over to the center one, and it would trim up. And you would have it all trimmed up. Now, when I go to join these, I mark on the back side. You might have noticed that there's little pinholes. See the little pinhole? There's pinholes all along here. So whatever size you're joining together, if you were making smaller hexes or larger, this ruler has the pinholes in them ready for you to mark with a water-soluble pin. So I just come in and I mark it. And we need to do 4 sides on this one because the side will be open. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but I can see them. I guess on the black, I should have had a white one. And I've already joined On this one, I already joined. This is the centerpiece. Notice I started with a 2-inch hexie in the middle there. That's that 3-inch piece that you cut from fabric 2 at the beginning. That's what I started with. It's the same process all the way out though. So I joined them together. But when you're sewing them, I'm going to open this so you can see. So there is a mark right here and you stop. You want to stop. You don't on it or even, so this one here, you'll notice I stopped on it. This one here, I stopped a little bit before it, and that's okay. 1 stitch away is okay for this. And I back stitch on it too, because this is your final stitch. You're not going to stitch over this with another thread. Now, when I want to join it, I'm going to flip this over, line it up. And I actually would join it from this side. And I already have a mark on this side here. And so I would take it to the machine and I would sew from this point here to this point over here. And then I would join it to the top up here. Does anybody want me to take it to the machine and actually do this? So can you raise your hand, please? You can either raise your hand or you can hit the little hand motion on the screen. Okay. So if this was sewn up, it would already be joined right here in this point. And then you're going to, so it'd be sewn right here. And we're joining this one. And you're just going to sew from this blue dot to this blue dot again, back stitching at the end, but not stitching past your dot. When you get done, this is what you call a Y seam here, and that's what you just created there. So again, I can show you on this one, where I sewed to this point, and then over to this point. And then when I join this one, it's from this point to this point, and over to this point to this point. And then on the back of it, see where I have a small little hexagon right here too? I pressed it, so I press this way, and I press this way, and I just keep pressing it so that it goes in a circle. It can either go clockwise, or sometimes the way you're going to press will go counterclockwise. But you can, this here will open up like this because there's no stitches in here, and you'll have a nice flat stitch right there. It eliminates a lot of the bulk that you get from pressing it like this. That's a lot heavier. That's 2 fabrics heavier right there than when you have it opened up on this. So after you get all 7 of your hexagons joined together, I did not, you can put the binding on if you want a binding on it. Paul's going to switch the camera for here on me. So what I did on this is I just laid my quilt top down with facing up, put the batting in, top up, and then I put the piece of fabric that we already cut and set aside on top of that right side facing the quilt top. You're actually going to put it on the table. So you're going to put your fabric down first, then your batting, then your quilt top on top, and you trim around, and then you trim. I asked Polly to put me in one place and I want to go another place. And then you trim around this, the same size, and then you sew it together. And I actually I sewed and left about this much of an opening on the top part. And then I came back and folded it in and turned it. So you're going to pull it from the inside out to turn it and not have a binding. And it makes it so much easier in your inner corners right here without putting a binding on it. And that's it. Is there any questions? Okay, no questions.
Questions in the chat, but if they'd like to unmute themselves, they can.
Oh, yes, thank you. I forgot to ask you that, to mute yourself and to unmute yourself. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute and me the question. And if not, I want to tell you, so I just finished up a sew along on A River Runs Through It. And you're going to be seeing postings on that on our website. And also coming up in 2022, we are going to have, Carolyn's going to, on this quilt, right? It's not going to be this one, but it's very similar. This is Carolyn's quilt. And she's going to be offering a class on landscaping. We haven't finished scheduling that, but that's coming up the first part of 2022. And also we have Dana Jones is going to return, and we're going to do a wavy runner. We haven't named it yet either, but that'll be somewhere, I think it's going to be in March that she's going to come back and teach another class with us. And we'll have kits to go with those when they come up. And oh, illusions. How could I forget illusions? I'm working on it. So this is block 1. This is going to be January, or our first block, because it might be February, but hopefully into January coming up. This is going to be a sew along also. And the whole quilt, well, this doesn't show the whole quilt, but so it's multiple things. But you saw how large that block was there that I did? Here we go. Thank you. So this is the whole quilt here. And so it's 12 blocks, the size of that one. And I just love how many different techniques there are to learn. It's not hard. It's just it's time consuming. And you're just going to take your time and enjoy all these new techniques and find something new that you might enjoy that you haven't tried before in the past. And when you finish, you're going to have this beautiful 88 by 112 inch quilt. You do get to choose what color border you want. We still have this, we have the teal, we don't have blue, the red and the purple, and I believe we still have one of each. We only ordered X amount of these borders. When they're gone, they're gone. So if you have a border that you really love, I recommend that you get it now before it's gone. It is a kit. It includes the backing, the binding, and it's going to be a fabulous adventure that we're getting ready to start. So,
I put the link for the illusions in there,
okay.
but let them know it's a pre-order, right?
Yes.
So it's we're doing it in 2 payments, right? Remember?
Yes. So this is a 2 payment. Yes. Back to illusions real quick. Paul is reminding me things. This is 2 payments on the illusions, if you would like. And the link is at the bottom of the screen. And we don't have the fabric in, but it is a pre-order because we are going to be shipping your quilt to your fabric to you when it comes in. And we need to know how many of which color. Again, like I said, you have to pre-order in order to get your border choices there. Okay. And so the links for the products that I used were at the bottom of the screen. I didn't show you or talk about all the products, the thread, the needles. I always start with the fresh needle. I always oil my machine, clean my machine before I get started to have best results. And I always use quality thread. So I love our Aurora Fill thread, 50 weight for piecing, 40 weight for quilting. And if you can't find something, feel free to either email us or call us here at the store, 970-577-8210. And the next person is going to be Becky.
Sherry.
I'm sorry, Sherry. Sherry. And she is going to be doing embroidery. Nope,
She's
I'm
gonna be
totally off on this.
She's
Sorry.
going to show how to finish a cross-stitch Christmas ornament.
Did you catch that? Cross-stitch Christmas ornament is going to be coming up by Sherry. Sorry. And we're going to do a short break now. Thank you. See you guys next time.